Tottenham Hotspur 4, Southampton 1, and Spurs were very good, Janusz, when they eventually woke up.
Yeah, look, I mean, the Spurs are as advertised. I mean, they're sending a strong message. We've all wondered. I think everybody understood that they've had a great end to the season last year, making to the Champions League. We've all talked about Spurs and the transfer they've done, which is massive, right? Daniel Levy. I think only Antonio Conte can force Daniel Levy to open up his wallet, which he did. But by the way, Mark, I mean, all those players. I mean, the starting lineup was from last season. All those
Yep,
players
it was.
came off the bench as well. So I tell you, what a message going down, as you've said early on. But they didn't panic, right? They've worked through it, and man, a number of very, very good performances.
What message does it send that Spurs can score 4 goals on the opening day of the Premier League, and none of them are scored by Harry Kane or Heung-min Son?
Yeah, I think massive. I mean, Mark, you and I have covered Serie A for such a long time that we know better, right? Antonio Conte is a born winner. I mean, he's going for it all. I'm not sitting here saying that they're going to win the Premier League, but if you ask Antonio Conte quietly, you'd know what he's all about, right? I mean, he is to get a trophy. We know that Spurs has been a long, long time since they've won it, but in terms of Premier League, I mean, it is a strong message because he's saying here, look, we're good. We're better perhaps than last year with a room to grow. Because when you're talking about Bissouma, when you're talking about Perisic, when you're talking about Richarlison, who was suspended today, not even available, those players are going to benefit. But I think, in terms of that growing, look at Ryan Sessegnon. First goal, I mean, tremendous. I don't even want to get going on Dejan Kulusevski because, I mean, it's been incredible. Actually, those two combined on numerous occasions, very, very well. So it's also, it feels like a challenge, right? And these players that started today, the players really from last season, probably felt the challenge and the pressure from the newcomers, right? And Sessegnon, obviously Perisic bringing down his neck and Richarlison with Kulusevski, I suppose. So I thought it was a very, very good and a telling performance.
But it was Southampton that took the lead, and like their talisman, James Ward-Prowse. I always think because he maybe plays for Southampton, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. It's a stunning finish for the opener. But then Southampton on the whole, they kind of got smothered. They allowed themselves to be smothered. Were Spurs that good, or were Southampton that bad after Southampton opened the scoring?
I think Southampton are where they're supposed to be, right? I mean, the opening was good. Gianeppo did a pretty good job on Emerson Royal on the byline there as well. Højbjerg, I think, took things for granted because, he was watching that cross. He probably knew that James Ward-Prowse was there. Great kind of side volley into the ground finish, right, from him. But I think, Hasenhüttl understands where they are. No Armando Broja, obviously, this time. I think he was important to that team last season, even though I think, if memory serves right, he's only scored 6 goals, but you felt like they had a target player that's always been dangerous. So I think it was Spurs being that good, really. I think it was a surprise. And the question was, how are they going to answer? A little bit like Fulham against Liverpool, right? And the answer was quite different. It was both games in London. It was hot, sunny out there, but, Liverpool lethargic. And yet Spurs answered that, none of that bothered them because, Antonio Conte, I'm sure, was there. And I thought it was a tremendous performance.
Final question, it's regarding the new signings for Spurs. And I don't think this is a bad thing for Antonio Conte because the players from last season, even Sessegnon, who didn't feature too much, they know if they perform, they'll keep the jersey right now. So that maybe gives like Perisic a chance to kind of bed in a little bit. The other one I want to talk to you about is Richarlison, because you ain't dropping Kulusevski. So where does Richarlison fit into that lineup in that 3-4-3 formation? Or is he just a sub that comes on in games?
Well, I mean, when we saw in the preseason, it's a 3-4-3, but it can often be a 3-5-2, right? Which opens up a spot in midfield. Right now, you look at Bentancur and Højbjerg, right? But we've seen in the preseason with Bissouma playing there as well. Today, I mean, Perisic and Bissouma weren't 100%, right? That's why they're probably on the bench coming in. So you can have that. And I've also seen Kulusevski playing a little bit deeper in the midfield where you could have Richarlison at times deputizing for Son or Kane. Hard to see. I think in that 3-4-3, that's when you're going to see Richarlison for Kulusevski at times. Remember, I mean, it's the Champions League, and
Yeah.
look, Champions League, they have the depth, but there's also going to come a time where I think Antonio Conte and Spurs will have to seriously look at the cups, right? You kind of start with whatever lineup you can, but if you get to the, say quarterfinals, semifinals of the FA Cup or League Cup, that trophy is going to be important. It's so massive for the fans, right? Antonio Conte is smart enough to recognize that, a trophy is a trophy for Spurs, right? If Jose Mourinho could be happy with winning the, Conference League, and their fans, I mean, you saw that, right? I mean, their fans, obviously, first trophy in Europe ever for Roma. I think, that's why you're going to need the likes of, Richarlison and Bissouma and Perisic and that depth of squad, remembering that Antonio Conte doesn't like to rotate too much, but he knows he's going to have to. And you know what? He's got the players for it.
I'm going to end with a cheeky little question, a rascal of a question. And I only need one answer.
I hate you for it already.
I only need one answer, okay? Purely based on Arsenal's performance at Palace or Spurs' performance against Southampton, who was the better of the North London teams this weekend?
No, it's Spurs. And, they're still ahead of Arsenal, in my opinion, when it's all said and done.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.